Today, I want to spend the first part of the meeting of our get-together talking about messages. Okay? And then if you have questions, we'll address the questions afterwards. Okay? And don't forget, I have you all muted. So if you can't hear me, make sure you let me know. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Everybody see that okay? Yes? Somebody unmute and say yes, because I can't see you folks anymore.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right. Now, what we're going to do is discuss the messaging program. It's the one I'm circling there and there on my iPhone and there on my iPad. There are many different messaging programs. Messaging programs, yes. Facebook has one. Google has one. Amazon has one. And they all are slightly different. And they function a little bit differently. So I'm going to focus on the messages one, because that's the one from Apple. And I need to find a mouse here. That's the one from Apple, and it integrates with all the other Apple applications very nicely. So I'm going to open the messaging app. And it comes up and looks like this. The left-hand panel okay. The panel that comes up on your iPhone and or the one that comes up on your iPad on the left is a list of the conversations you've been having with people. Okay. And so you can go down that list. You can eliminate any one of those conversations by putting your finger on the right side of that tab and then pulling it over. I didn't mean to do that. And pull it over. That allows you to delete it. You want to start a new message, you tap up here. If you want to eliminate more than one message at a time, you tap edit. Ooh. And select messages, and then you can come down and select a whole bunch and then delete them. At the bottom of the panel, let's start a new message. Okay, I'll click the new message indicator on both devices. And it says, I want to send it to someone. So I'm going to send it to myself. And you can do that. All right. Now, in this case, there's nothing. Oh, no, I want to have a conversation with Ann. So I'm going to test Ann here. All right. Oh, there's a conversation I had with Ann. And you'll notice how that comes up. It finds it. Now, if I wanted to eliminate that conversation first, well, I think she had called me or sent me a message and I said, I can't talk right now. That was a previous message we had. Back in May. And messages keeps track of a conversation you started for in however amount of time you leave the message there. If I want to, I'm going to send a note to Anne and she's going to respond. Right, Anne?
Do I have to respond on the iPad?
Yes. Or iPhone, it doesn't matter. Did you get it, Anne? Yes, she did. No?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I got it. I'm muted. I got it. Yes, thank you.
Okay, do a response. What she's going to do is type in where it says iMessage.
I'm having a problem with my phone, so I spelled your name wrong.
Oh, it said hi, Bill, back. Something happened. Everybody still see my screen? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And we can I was and then I can respond. And now she's going to respond. And when she starts her response, see how the little dots appeared there? I know she's typing. And the reason they do that, is so you don't get you realize that the other person is talking and you shouldn't interrupt them or change the subject.
Since you were talking, it said you must have said for a response because I responded couldn't be better.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to include a picture, I could click the camera. And I could take a picture. And then I could send that. So now Anne has that picture. If I wanted to add a little panache to this conversation going back and forth, ooh, I better stop because Aunt, there she goes. And she took a picture. Okay. Now, if I wanted to add a little panache to this, I'd say, great picture. And you see how the left-hand object over here changed its characteristics. That's this object right here. If I tap it, I would send. If I press and hold it, it takes on an entirely different thing. I press and hold, and this shows up. And with this particular option, I have two choices to make. I can change the way the text appears on the screen. Okay. Instead of it just saying plain great picture, it could say That's called a slam. It could be loud. It could be gentle. Or it could be invisible. And you say,
No,
why would
no.
you want to send an invisible message? Well, nobody could read it directly, but if you put your finger on it and drag over it, it would appear.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The question that I have is that on my screen, which I just sent you, I have pictures on the side of you and me and Leah and Melinda and Paul and Rowan, and I can't get them away, and I can't see what you're talking about on the right-hand side of the message screen.
Oh, you have to go back to our conversation.
No, it's because the pictures of us are there, and your screen is showing on my computer, but I have pictures covering what you're talking about. Does anybody else have that problem?
No, what screen are we looking at, Ann?
The one I sent you,
Which device? Which device?
I'm looking on my computer, my laptop. But I'm trying to see your iPad, and the right side of your iPad is covered by pictures on my computer.
Can I add a question or thought to that? I've had that same problem every time I've tried to do a PowerPoint on a screen to share a screen. My understanding is they see what I want them to see, but my screen, my pictures, the little strip of pictures covers part of what I want. And somebody said that's the way it always happens.
Bill, if you look at the picture I sent you, you'll see what Leah's talking about and what my problem is.
Okay. I will send this. Okay. I see. If that shouldn't be on there. Hold on.
At the top, I have the option to turn off, minimize, or whatever, make bigger. If I'm afraid to close it out, to hit the close out, because I'm afraid I'll close the whole thing out.
Well, you sent me the message on the iPad, right? Yes.
No, I
see
sent it on
what you're
my
saying.
iPhone.
Okay. If
The screen, what you're looking at there that you're pointing at is the picture I took of my computer.
I know, I'm this particular panel is the thing you're talking about. Is that correct?
It's covering what you're talking about.
Does it have any indicators at the top of it? I can't quite read that.
The only indication I have is on a white line that says simultaneous connection. And and it has the minus sign and the,
Click the minus sign. No? Are you gone?
Sorry, I've got too many things in my hands. I click the minus sign and nothing happens.
Well.
But if I hover over your picture, now I see some strange things over your picture. Hide thumbnail video, which should be good, right? Show small active speaker video. And then there's show grid video. And then on the right at the top, it says swap shared screen with video.
What if you just click on in the black area and click right there? Would that get rid of the pictures?
No, no, but I think that this thing hide thumbnail video would do it. Hold
I
on.
think hide thumbnail video is what you want to do.
I did, and that
Thumbnails.
cleared, it did. Thank you, I did. That
Thank
did
you,
it.
Bill. There we go. Okay. I just sent Anne an invisible text, and she can put her finger on it and rub over it and actually see what text I had sent her.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
Now, if you look down here at the bottom where it says iMessage, there's not an arrow over here because I haven't put any text in, but there is these jaggedy lines. If I click on, and what I have to do, get the arrow out of the way, I have to put my finger on it and press down, and now it's recording what I'm saying, and now it's stopped, and now I can send a recording of my voice. And Anne will get that, and if she taps the little arrow there, she will actually hear the voice that I sent her. So there, what I'm pointing out here is there's a way to actually send a voice message.
Bill, what did you hit again? I missed that.
Okay, look, I'm looking at the screen
Yeah,
and I'm ready to type a message. Don't type anything. And this little icon over here is now looks like jaggedy lines, a voice print. And if you put your finger on it and hold it, Anne just sent me something back. If I put my finger on it and hold it, it's recording whatever I'm saying, my actual voice.
thank
I
you.
lift up my finger, now I can send that to Anne. What did Anne say?
Actually, I said what you said.
Okay.
I recorded your voice.
Okay. So that's the next feature.
Okay, how do you get that? I just
Okay.
have the green arrow. I don't have the voice
That's
thing.
because you started to type already.
No,
Start a new message to someone new.
okay, I see it. Thank you.
Okay. I didn't quite finish. I got it. All right. See the arrow? Then that next piece of panache you can add, in addition to these slam, loud, gentle, and invisible ink, is up here at the top. They're talking about how your voice, or not your voice, your text appears. It's called a bubble. But you can change the screen background by clicking up here at the top right. And that's how my message would go if I send it right now. You'll notice the dots here at the bottom. I can go to the next screen by clicking or tapping on one of those dots, or putting my finger here and dragging across this way. So now it'll be a spotlight that shows up if I send it. And it goes on. I can do balloons. So I'm going to send that one. And that's what Anne will get on the other end.
They came and they went away.
Yes. Okay, then we can go on. I can add more stuff there. Let me get, whoop, there's the spotlight. There's the balloons. We have confetti falling. Oh. Okay. We have laser lights. And you notice how I'm going across the little dots down here at the bottom. Right. And last but not least, the little sprinklies, sparklies. So let me send that one. And that actually has a little sound effect with it.
You bet it did. Very crackly.
Okay, then I think Apple lost its mind. You see the
Okay.
little, go
How
ahead.
do you get those things again?
You type your message.
Yes.
I gotta go correct that. You type your message and it turns the little voice box over here on the right to an arrow, and you press and hold that arrow. And then it comes up like this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, if you got here by mistake, because oftentimes it happens, you get here by mistake because you pressed and held the up arrow too long, you can get back to the main screen by clicking the X down here. Okay. Now, I think Apple lost its mind the next iteration of messages. Down here at the bottom, you may have this line underneath where the message is normally typed. If you do not, you see the little icon there that looks like a popsicles, A? If you click it, you'll lose that line if you had it. And if you click it again, you'll get that line. These are different applications that are attached to messages. And the list goes on quite a ways. Okay. Now, we're not going to cover all of those, but I want to cover 3 or 4 of them. Okay. So let's go clear over to the right. So you get, it says, this one is the icon for pictures, right? Photos. So if you click this one, it opens up your photo library and you can send a photo. And I'm going to take a look at all my pictures. And then I'm going to scroll through a bunch, go down here to my moonshots. And we'll send a picture. We'll send this picture, right? So I just click on it. It selects it. And I say add. Okay. And then I can write a little note on it. Now Anne's writing right now.
Mine didn't say add, so I'm trying to figure it out.
You have to select the picture first.
I did.
It should say add at the top. And I'm going to send that one. You sent it. Okay. I recognize that lady.
Yes.
All right. And that's
But that's not the one I clicked, which is,
by mistake, I think it is. Oh, you selected a whole bunch.
oh yeah,
Okay.
I did. I
Okay.
didn't realize I did though. I thought I
Yeah,
only
You have
selected
to be
one.
careful there. Yeah, you might want to not want to send a picture that you're sending. Okay.
Bill, when I hit the photos icon, I don't get anything.
Do you have photos on your device?
Yes,
And you click this little icon down here, this one?
yes. Which one? No, mine, it looks like a kind of a graph and says Google Photos.
That's different.
Oh,
That one's the one that's clear over here. See that one? That's a different icon.
yeah, that's not the icon I have either, but okay.
But that's the Google Photos one.
Okay. That's not what I have, but okay.
You have to find the one that looks like the one I have there. And it should be in that list somewhere.
Hey, Bill, this is Jean.
Uh-huh.
I have a question. Is there a limit? I mean, reasonable to send 12 pictures, or is there a limit to how many you can Send.
Well, we found out that 3 works.
Okay,
I don't know. I wouldn't try to send 100, but
no, I'm
we
thinking,
could certainly test the limits of it.
okay, so you don't know about that, okay. Um,
Okay,
I had a question, maybe not, it's not at the time, but when I get photos from people on messages, I'd like to save them into my photos, and I don't know how to do that.
so you get a photo in messages and you want to
Mhm.
save it so you don't have to keep that message around.
Mhm.
So let me go down here. I got this nice picture of from the ends. Oh, that's a video too.
It is.
Yeah, I don't think it, I think it's a video by mistake.
You're right.
Did you see the picture move? Let's go
Yes.
down and get a picture of the bay here. Oh, this is a bird on top of the canopy,
Right.
right? If you press and hold the picture, see, I pressed and held it, and it says save, and you just click save. Click that little arrow, and now that picture is in your photo library.
Which library is it really in? I mean, how do you find it again?
Okay, I'm going to go back to my home screen now. And now I'm going to click on photos, which is this icon. And I'll go to my recents, and right there's the picture.
Bill, does it store it by the actual date that the photo was taken or when you uploaded the photo?
It looks like the actual date I uploaded it. It's the date I uploaded it, not the date it was taken. You see how it ended up right at the end? And they're in chronological order. You know, I think the date information is removed from it, but I'm not positive of that. The initial, the taken date is gone. Okay. So I go back to messages. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, if you should have the Photos app there somewhere. That's the first one in most people's list. Are you sure you're clear to the, see how it says photos on it? And the one over here says Google Photos.
Bill, when I hit that icon now, all I get is my camera. I don't get any photos.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back there. So you strike this icon and
That-
you get that one,
Yes,
the one above
yes.
it. The one above it gives you your
No.
camera. The one
Right,
below,
I understand that.
sure you're not by mistake hitting the wrong one?
Well, let's see, I'll try it again.
Okay.
Possibly. Possibly. Okay, sorry.
But if you hit your camera and you go to the, let me go back to the method I was working on. If you hit your camera up at the upper, now this is on your iPhone, up at the upper left-hand corner, you'll see two pictures.
Yeah,
And if you hit that, that takes you to your
Yep,
photo library.
that will take you to your photo library. Yep. I was looking for the same thing on here and I don't see it on the iPads.
No, it is not on the iPad.
Oh, wait a minute. What's that one? Nope. That
No.
flipped the camera.
No, it's only on the iPhone.
Yeah.
yes, thank you. It did that. My fingers are too big.
Let's get back here to messages. Oh, come on. I didn't want this thing anymore. There we go. Now Ann has a shot of that. You're getting quite a collection, Ann.
Oh, yes, good collection, Bill.
I'm going to skip a couple here and go over to, it looks like I'll call it a badminton racket. It's with a red background there. If you click on that one's kind of fun. It has, I'll call them vignettes or little video clips. Right? And there are a lot of them. And I put my finger on that little line there. See the little line right here and move it up. Now I got hundreds and hundreds. Well, it stops there. Okay. If I have a particular subject that I want to send in this video, I click up here and I type in something. Oh. Sorry about that. I type in up here. I want waterfalls. And it gives me pictures of waterfalls in videos. So let me send. Okay, now I've put that in a message to Ann, and I'm going to send it.
Excuse me, Bill, where did you go to get that list?
All right, we'll repeat that particular function again. You click the red button there,
Yes,
okay?
I'm in the videos, yes.
You're in the videos, and it says find images.
Yes,
You click on that, and you type in what you're after.
okay.
I'm going to go to laughing this time. Okay. And we'll send this one. Okay. All right. That one's a fun one to use. You know, you can type in birthdays and you get all kinds of things, right? Actually, the laughing is not bad, is it? All right. You could play, if you had music on your device, you could send some music. I'm going to send Fleetwood Mac here, and I send it. I've got to check something. See if there's somebody trying to get in and I'm not letting them in. Yeah. Okay.
Bill, that music that you just sent, the receiver has to also have Apple Music to hear it, right?
I don't know. Ann,
Good.
let's see. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I'll send you a different one. Okay. Of course, you have app. No.
No, I don't have,
Okay, you got it.
I got it. When I press play, yeah, it gives me a line below, like shows up there that for me to subscribe to it, or I can buy it out of the iTunes library.
Oh, that's too bad.
So no free music.
That's what mine said too.
That's what it's supposed to sound like. Okay, you have to own it or go buy it. Okay. Thank you. If you click the little heart there, it brings up a scratch pad that you can actually draw on and then send that. There you go, Greg.
I got it. And it offered me a chance to keep it too, I think.
It did?
Yeah,
Look what
that
Ann
might be
said.
worth money someday.
Somehow I doubt that. What's that one do? Oh, this one goes into YouTube. And I can actually send a link to a YouTube video. I happen to like this one. Right. This is Star Spangled Banner sang by Whitney Houston. Okay, so I just sent, I think it's just
Which
the
one are
link,
you on? Which one are you on, Bill, for the YouTube?
this one right here.
What is that? It's so small, I can't see it.
Okay. Oops.
I don't think I have it. Oh, I see it, YouTube. Okay, it's way over there. Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. You could click it and actually scan a document. Here's a scanned document I did.
Look at that.
I can click this and it opens the camera and I can send you that joke I just gave you. Oh, you're not interested. Oh, okay. What else? The equivalent. I have one more that I'm saving for now. You see these people here? It's like the fourth one in.
Yes.
If I click that, it comes up and gives me little images that I can send. Okay. I could send a puppy dog. And with the puppy dog, I have all kinds of expressions I could make. Okay. If you're not too happy about something, you could send this one. Or this one.
No, I don't have that one.
You don't have that icon?
No, on the bottom. I don't have that.
I see it on my phone and my iPad.
If
What-
you scroll all the way to the right, mine gave me 3 dots and I had to go to that to find the YouTube one. The more, and go down and select it and add it.
I had the YouTube on my thing.
No, what he's saying is you scroll
Yeah,
clear
no.
to the right. And you
Yeah.
get the 3 dots.
Yeah,
You tap the 3 dots.
yeah, but I still don't see it.
You
Mine
should-
is under stickers.
just plain stickers.
Yes.
But it says stickers, huh?
YouTube. I think it's a box.
It's a funny-
I'm looking for the symbol.
Weird.
So we can have all kinds of images here. Okay,
We don't have everything. Stickers down here. Here, I'll show you. mine.
everything from a skull
I think it's this thing right
to a
here.
teddy bear.
You don't seem to have it. Work on that later. 'Cause I know you like to send those.
Diane, were you able to find it?
have emoji stickers. Is that it?
Yeah, use that
Yes.
one. Yeah,
Yes, it is.
It's a different icon.
okay. And is this an older iPhone we're looking at?
Yeah, it's an iPhone 7, my antique.
Okay.
Well, COVID got in the way. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Now, look at all the ones that Ann just sent me. Now, if we have a relatively new device, you can create an emoji that looks like you. I created this one. Okay. And if you have that capability, you'll see the 3 dots on the left-hand side of the list of critters. So what I'd like to do is take you through that particular thing. Now, Diane, do you have the 3 dots?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, click the 3 dots.
Mhm.
And
It's
it
not the
says
same as the plus sign. I have a plus sign.
on the left, yes, same as a plus sign. Does it say new emoji there?
Mine says skin hairstyle brows.
Right, that's what mine says.
Oh, 3 dots after
Okay, so
when
if,
you're in emoji.
yeah, yeah, what we're going, yeah, you have to get through that text screen,
Hold on
and
a
you
sec.
should get to something that looks like this.
Well, first I have to get into my emoji again. Oh, I can find it on my phone easier.
And so you have the capability of putting your skin tone. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then you can adjust that particular color of skin tone up and down slightly. Okay. Then you go to the next screen and you put in, do you have freckles? Little or a lot? What do your cheeks look like? And you pick one of those. Now, one of the things I find is the guys go through this a lot quicker than the ladies. So if you have a beauty spot or want to have one, you can add that. And that's the location of it. And then you go to hairstyle. Okay. And first of all, pick the color of your hair. And again, you have a lot of choices. More or less blonde or gray. You want to close to white. Oh, those are highlights. Oh, that's why it's not taking very.
My problem came when I got to hairstyle. Not my hairstyle.
You don't like your hairstyle?
It doesn't have it.
Oh, no, we're down here. There's quite a few. You can scroll down there and find one, hopefully. I was wondering what I'd look like with gray hair.
Well, I found out during COVID.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. How about this one? There you go. And then you can set up the size and location of your eyebrows. Any marks on your forehead? I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. Do you have any piercings? around your eyebrows. Oh, yeah.
Home Depot on there.
I have Home Depot.
Right.
Maybe it's for the things that you use.
And then you can go to your eyes. The shape of your eyes.
Bill, I'm not finding hair color. My hair is gray.
Okay, I'm in hairstyle and it's clear at the top of the list.
Go to hairstyle. Huh. Okay, okay, thank you.
Once you choose one, then you can do highlights as well. So I can be a redhead with white highlights. And we'll do classic. What is class? Oh, yes. Okay. Then your head. And this is the shape. Oh, age, I guess, makes you look older, gives you a little more wrinkles or something.
Especially around the eyes.
Yeah, I see that. Yep.
I hate to admit it.
And then the nose is interesting. You only have 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. And of course, you can add piercing to it if you like. And mouth, it's the shape of the lips.
Go on.
Your ears, small, medium, and large. And you can add earrings. Oh, you can add a pair or mix and match. Oh, my.
Hey, Bill, how about wrinkles?
Well, that's back on when we did the head. Was it the head?
Yeah, age. Yeah.
Age. And if
It's
you,
very gentle.
for example, you see mine there, that's old. And this is really young. And you'll notice what happened around the eyes. Around the eyes and around the cheeks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Facial hair. Right, so I put a red beard on me, right? And eyewear. And headwear.
Is that the last
There we go. And face covering. Oh, I can do a mask. 2 kinds of mask. An N95 and the other kind. Okay. And look at it, matches my headwear. And you tap done. And now you have that particular icon you can use for all kinds of expressions.
And Bill, I have a quick question.
Uh-huh.
On Ralph's device, he doesn't have that YouTube thing. How do you add things to
You go clear to the right.
Clear to the right.
And there's 3 dots.
Yep.
You click on that.
Mhm.
And it shows you the ones you have
Mhm.
and the ones you can add.
And in that screen, you can also remove some things from your favorites by touching and pushing left to the left.
If you don't have the YouTube, you go up in the search box and put the name, put YouTube in it.
Oh.
I don't have a choice for YouTube.
If you tap the apps How do I get there? And there's no YouTube in that selection?
No.
Perhaps you have to have the YouTube app on your on your device. I'm not sure of that.
You do on your iPad, don't you? Yeah, he's got it on his iPad.
He has
uses it
he has the
all the time.
the application though that looks like this. You know, you can get to YouTube by going to Safari. I'm saying you have the app on your device.
Okay, maybe I'll try that. We'll try it.
Okay.
I have it on mine, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, geez. That's dictation. Wow.
Well, how do you get one to work that doesn't work?
Good question. I don't know. Which one are you looking at?
I have Google Photos, and when I tap Google Photos, nothing happens. And I also have Dropbox, and nothing happens with that one either.
Do you have Google Photos on your device?
Yes.
See, I just clicked mine and it came up. Here's the photos on Google Photos. Now, usually when I hit something like that, I restart my device and see if that fixes it. But if you go to Google Photos, not in Messages, but if you just go straight to Google Photos, do you get it?
No,
Right, I haven't tried that.
I have the same problem and I don't get anything.
When you go to the application called Google Photos?
When I go to the app, yeah, it's a blank screen.
Yeah, now why is that? I guess I'd download the app again, delete it and download
Well,
the app.
this is a brand new iPhone and it's supposed to sync with my iPad, but apparently the photos haven't come over.
Well, no, Google Photos is different. Google Photos you have to log into.
Yeah, but it doesn't even give me that choice.
I know, I'm not sure why. So I would delete the app
Uh-huh.
and then add it again. And when you add it, it asks you to put in the Gmail ID and password.
When I went to the store to add it, I had a cloud, so I just brought it down out of the cloud. And it still was a blank when I hit it.
Nice, yeah. Again, I'd suggest restarting, power down and power up your device.
Okay, later.
Yeah,
I'm afraid to do it now.
I understand.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bill, your advice about rebooting worked. Thank you.
Oh, see, all right. By the way, that's a good piece of general advice. I've had to do that a couple of times with the latest operating system, so. All right. So now I expect to get a picture of Anne. Wait a minute, I got to send her one of these. Yes. Okay. Okay, everybody. So that is Messages. Do we have any questions?
Yes, how do you get rid of them? And how do you get rid of just one out of a stream?
There's a way to do that, and I just have to remember it. Hold on. Let's go down here. Let's assume I want to get rid of this one. I press and hold it. Says save, reply, copy, more. And it's checked. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I said delete all that are checked. That's what that means. And it deletes that one. No, it didn't. Never mind.
There was a little trash can at the bottom though, so maybe that's.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me take Greg's here. Let me send back. Hey, Greg, I'm going to continue this.
Okay.
I have to tell you
you respond.
I have to tell you in the meantime that rebooting worked on my Google Photos also.
All right.
Thank you.
So he says hi back, and I'm going to click and hold that. And then I click more and hit the trash can. Yes, that worked.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
It didn't
And how
delete
did-
it from my end though. Or it didn't delete it.
No, it
from your
won't
end.
delete it from your end. It only deletes it from my screen. You're correct.
And then to delete all of them.
To delete all of them, you could do it a couple of ways. If I go here and click and drag that way,
Uh,
I would delete everything. Or you could do what I did here. And I click more and it says delete all. There's a couple of ways.
Okay.
But
One
Bill,
more
it may still be in the cloud and you could go back in and resync to get it if it's not wiped out of the cloud.
Let's see. I bet it goes the other way though, Greg. I bet it takes what I've changed here and goes through the cloud and does it.
Maybe.
This is the message I've got from you right now. So it went back and did it the other way. It updated the cloud.
Okay.
Because if I select this one and unselect that one and delete, ooh, wait a minute. If I press and hold, and this is all part of one, so. Hi again to Greg. And I just want to get rid of that one. I'm going to delete that one on my iPad, and it deletes it from the iPhone as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Any more questions about, as you can tell, you can play with some of these. If you wanted to send somebody money, you can do Apple Pay.
Yeah, let's try that, Bill.
Okay. What's your credit card number, Greg? And you can play with these. These, I have not tried them all for sure. So, so now you know what that little picnic table or the popsicle sticks mean. You know what the camera means, and add some of those things. You know how to record. the message you want to send, etc. All right. So the next time you're using messages, add some panache. All right. What I want to do is stop sharing my screen.
I have a question, Bill.
Go ahead, Ann.
Up at the top of my messages, just like yours, you have David and Young Nam. I have 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 different ones. Some of them I don't even recognize. How do I get rid of those if I don't want
Okay. If you want to put, if I want to put Greg up there, I think I go like this and I pin.
You've got your pencil.
So now I've got 3 up there. Okay.
Correct. Now, how do you get rid of that if you don't want that?
I want to get rid of Greg. Sorry, Greg. I'm going to press and hold it like so.
The other side, I think. Yeah. Put them in your.
Press and hold it like so. I'll do it again. I just put my finger on it, press and hold, and then I unpin. Okay. Thank you for asking that, Ann, by the way. I'd forgotten to mention it. So you can pin particular folks who you have conversations with a lot up here, so you can get back to that conversation quickly. That's to my daughter.
Bill,
Yeah.
I have what I think is a junk message, a text message, and it just says stop. And at the top, it has 19 people and a whole bunch of those little gray pictures. I mean, I'm going to delete it, but I'm just curious about it.
Well, it was a message sent to multiple folks.
That's what okay.
Okay, so that's why it says that at the top.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh, I didn't cover this one thing. I got to do it. If you have a face recognizing device, the iPad or the iPhone, was it the iPhone 10? Had facial recognition, and some of the iPad Pros uses facial recognition. Those devices that don't have a home button, basically. It has one additional icon. I'm going to my phone, and it says it says Emoji there, right? And I tap that, and now it's looking at my face. And you'll notice when I move my mouth, its eyes. When I blink, so you can, right? I can go here and I can say, I can start recording by hitting the button at the bottom. Hello, Greg. How are you today? And I will send that to Greg. So he's getting it right now. And he can play that. And it not only is my recording, and by the way, you could go over here. I can go over here and pick actually my face. Hi, how are you? Okay. So if you have one of those devices, you can take any one of the emojis and do something stupid with it, like, oh, aha. All right. Any questions? I didn't want to miss that one. Hey, Greg.
Bill?
Yes.
I have another question.
Go ahead, please.
When you go sideways to delete a message, there is the trash can and there's also a bell with a line through it. What does the bell mean?
Good question. I have never tried it. If somebody sends me a message that has a sound with it, I bet it mutes it.
Oh,
Mine is the mute button with a line through it.
Yeah. If I
Ah.
strike that, I think it mutes whatever noise that message might make.
Okay.
That would be my guess, though. I haven't tried it.
I thought it silenced that string if you were doing something else and there was a lot of exchange on that string, you didn't want to be interrupted. I think it temporarily mutes it.
Mutes the sound.
Mute, yeah, and the alerts and so forth.
Right.
Thank you.
And Greg said that correctly. It's the string of messages, not the message itself. Okay. All right, folks. It's now question and answer time.
Oh, I have lots.
Go ahead. Hit me with one.
Okay, on the phone, this is a brand new phone and I'm still learning about it. And when I go to the phone icon, at the bottom, there's a little, on the right, there's a little voicemail icon. And I listen to my voicemail, but I cannot repeat it. If I wanted to hear a phone number again or a name or something, it does not repeat. How do I do that?
You see my phone there?
No.
Oh, I got to share screen again. Hold on. See my phone here?
Yes.
See this little arrow? If you click that little arrow, it will play it again. Or tap that little arrow. It will play the message again.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
However,
Yep.
some of them, it won't. Not all of them will do that.
You have to
In
be
fact, I've never had
patient.
one to do it.
You have to be patient with it. Let me stop it. A lot of the things that show up on the screen, that means that is, if you tap this button, it will start playing. Now it's vertical lines. That's a pause indicator. And if you tap it, it will pause. Likewise, over here, this is the speaker phone. Speaker phone is off. If I click it, and now I play the message.
I found them locally. I did order one online, but I'm going to return that one.
Okay. So the icons, especially the icons, they're not how it's working. They're how it will work after you tap it. Okay. So this indicates that it will play when I tap it. And now it says I'll pause when you tap it. Now, if I go back here to the beginning, right, oftentimes you have to be a little patient when you tap it, because I know mine's a couple of second delay before it starts playing it. If I come down here to this particular, well, that's not a, if I come down here to this one, and I'm clicking it now, wait, there it goes. See the difference? All right.
Yes.
You've got to click the little microphone to be able to hear it.
Well, if you want to hear the speakerphone, if you have it to your ear, you pick it up and put it on your ear, you'll hear it. Yes, but to turn on the speakerphone, oops, why did I lose my phone? Okay, come back.
Bill, in some cases,
Thank you.
it can transcribe that voice memo.
Yeah, I don't have that capability on mine, but yeah, some providers give you the transcription of it. Unless Greg knows how to turn that on.
That disappears.
The transcription?
Yeah, it plays while they're talking, but then it disappears.
No, my wife had a voicemail sent to her, and then we replayed it back. I think it's still on her phone. We ended up making screenshots of it to keep a record of it, but I didn't know how to print it out otherwise. But it did a pretty good job. Because that phone call gave us like a claim number and phone numbers and all that was properly recorded in transcript.
Okay.
All right.
I love screenshots. Yes, thank you.
Oh, how do you take a screenshot? On your device?
The button.
Which way? Somebody tell me on the iPad with a home button on it. How do you take a screenshot?
With that button that we've added.
Oh, don't forget, without that button. Oh, that's for another, maybe I'll talk about that later, but okay. We'll talk about
Probably home and volume.
Let's see, home and volume up. Nope.
No. Home and power.
Power down, I think. The power on and off button.
Yeah, it's the power and the home button. Okay. For those without a home button, like my iPhone, it's the volume up and the power button. Okay. I'm going to talk about that button a little bit. I agree with you, Sharon. That is a nice little feature.
Wonderful.
All right. But first I have to continue with the questions. More questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead. Who was first? Go ahead.
Joe McIntyre.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Okay, when I click on the device to get music, nothing happens. I don't get music in my message. So what could that be?
When you click on the music app?
Well, yes. The music app at the bottom of the screen, I click on it and I go to my music, but it doesn't add the music to the message.
Oh, in messages. Oh,
yes. Yes.
So I'm in messages. I tap the music app and it comes up with music.
Yes.
And you tap it and it doesn't add it.
No.
Huh. Is this a album you bought from Apple?
Probably not.
Okay. I wonder if that's the case.
Yeah, they're usually, most of them are recordings that I have on a CD and removed them from the CD and put them
I'll bet they're not allowing you to do it because you didn't buy it from Apple.
That's right.
That would be my bet.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Next question. Rita.
I have another one, you bet.
Good. Go ahead.
When I'm sending an email or forwarding something, an article from the paper or something, and I want to highlight a sentence or a word or anything.
Whoa.
How do I do that? I know how to bold and italicize and all of that. How do I highlight a color over a sentence?
Wow. And this is in an article that you're
either in an article that I'm sending or in one of my emails if I want to emphasize something.
This one's to Bill Kelleher, right? And you're saying, how do I highlight that particular? And I don't know that there's a way. Yeah, there may be. you
There
know.
is, if you highlight the message and then hit the double A or the two
Yeah,
A's.
let me get there on my device. So the double A's. That's changing what you selected, right?
Well, what it's doing, you've got the bold, italics, and underline. You got the small and big A's to change the side, and then you got the color wheel right next to that to change the color.
Right, but that's what I'm going to do. How do I select the text?
If you
Hold it there. Does not come up.
Oh, there we go. You click and you say select.
Yeah, I know that part. Good.
Okay, so I'm
Okay.
going to select and I'm going to select the word message. Then I'm going to tap the double A's and I want to make, so you want to highlight though.
Right. Go to the color wheel. What happens then?
And that just let me change the color of the text, I believe.
That would be, oh, not cover it over.
No, that doesn't cover it, but it changes the color.
Yeah, well, that makes it show up.
Down here, there's a pen. Nope, can't do that either. Okay,
Well, I think
go ahead.
one of them was a highlighter.
Was it?
Yeah, it looked like a highlighter, when you went to all those different pens.
Yeah, but what it does is brings up another screen where I can grab the highlighter and I can do this, right? Make it blue. And then I can do this, but I'm not able to put it on top of the text that's already there.
Oh. What about can you make it less opacity and then it would go over the text?
If I say insert, it inserted that.
And a deleted message.
That's because I had it selected and it replaced it. Nope. So there isn't a way I know of highlighting it. Good question though, Rita. What's your next one?
No, those were my two for today. Thank you. Or two of many. Thank you.
I have a question, Bill.
Go ahead, please, Diane.
When you record a Zoom meeting, is there a way to play it back without it being on YouTube? Can you just play it back, a recording of a Zoom meeting on your own computer?
Yes, if you've recorded it, I record on the computer, on my computer, and it saves it in a folder called Zoom in your documents. And you go to that folder in Zoom, and it's an MP4, and you can click on it and it will play on the computer.
So you could email it to someone else.
Yes, you could, but it's awfully large. I doubt if you could email it.
Oh. So how would you get it to someone else?
Put it in a cloud like iCloud or Google Cloud, and then have them reference it.
How do you mean? How would you do that? How would you have
that? Yeah, that one's a share.
Isn't that what you do every time you send out?
No, I actually make a YouTube video out of it.
Yeah.
And saves it in our YouTube library.
That's a little sophisticated for us.
Well, I was thinking, how do you put it in a cloud? There's a way to get it if you have.
Well,
an
mean,
iCloud. There's a way to get it into the cloud and then share it that way. You have a Mac?
yeah, I have a Mac.
So it's on your Mac computer. Put it in your photo library under videos, and it should be in the iCloud then. And you should
You
be
can
able-
also do it on your phone. If you go into the folder, the iCloud folder,
Yep,
files,
it should
then
be
go
there.
into iCloud part,
Yep.
pick
No,
one.
Greg, how did it get there? I'm not sure how
You-
the Zoom meeting works in Apple.
Oh, well,
Where does the original file go?
well, on my Mac, it goes in a Zoom folder on my Mac, just in my downloads, just
And
like
does
it
that-
does on yours.
And does it show
And then
up?
I can move it, to the cloud
Yep.
and then share it from the cloud.
Exactly. Yes.
Phil, do you have a link to the recordings of this hour, an hour and a half that we can go to on YouTube and
Yes.
watch it?
Yeah, it'll be there in a minute. It'll be there in a couple of hours. And I'll send you a link.
Thank you.
And when you get that link, you should be able to get to the other ones as well. Any other questions?
I didn't know Message did so much.
Isn't that amazing? It's a lot of fun.
Did you go over group messaging? I was having technical difficulties. I missed some of it.
Say
Now, they
again?
used,
Group
Go-
messaging.
Go ahead, Greg.
they used to say that messaging was one of the safer ways to send files through the internet. And also I don't think there's a small size limit. I think you can send a very, very big file through messages, but I don't remember the stats on that.
Oh, really?
Yes,
So I could send it with a message?
I
Wow.
believe you could share it with a message. But I'm not positive of that.
So let me go to messages. And I'll have to think.
Well, on the Mac, you would just drag it in there and drop it in that line.
Yeah, well, I don't have, I'm not, screen.
Is there a drag and drop? If you split your screen, can you drag it in from
I'm
the
gonna
other
try
side?
that. I'm gonna try. Hold on. There's messages. And let me go to photos. Ah. And go to all my pictures here. Go down here to videos. Let me pick a long one. So you're saying I can drag it from here, right?
I think you can, but I'm not sure.
Yes. Oh, it said plus. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, now Greg is going to get that video. But that's not a really big one, but at least it's a beginning of how you could do this. Okay,
Why do you have the screen for Cortana on there?
where are you looking?
I'm looking at your shared screen and you've got pictures in the background of. you
Oh,
have
that's
voicemail
Windows
phone.
came up with that.
Because we did not, at least I didn't get to see how you dragged it over to the, where you put it.
Oh, you didn't see that? Okay, I'll do it again. I'm in the message. And I'm going to a split screen. So I put my finger at the bottom here of the screen, off the screen, and just pull it up slightly to get the dock.
I just now got your video.
Okay. And now I'm going to press the pictures icon and hold it. Then I'm going to drag it over here. And now I'm looking at videos. There's a 2-minute video. There's a 54-second. I'm looking for anything. Ooh, there's one that's 10 minutes. So let's see if we can get 10 minutes, Greg.
Okay.
And I'm going to drag it over here, drop it. And it takes a minute to figure it out. Oh boy.
10 minutes.
I think we just stopped.
You did not drag it to the message line. You just put it in the
Body, yep. I can try that again, but I think I've just locked up my iPad. Let's try that again. I started here. I pulled it over. Come on. There it is. It made it.
Yeah.
It made it.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to send that to Gray. So we're getting up there in size. If it's a 10-minute video, it's 10 or 12.
Oh, too long.
Ah,
Video is too long.
there you go.
Ah.
We learned something, all of us, with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Oh, I have another message question.
go ahead.
I was in a line talking to two different people. There were three of us that were talking, and I only wanted to reply to one person. I thought I was only replying to the last person, but
Ooh,
it went to everybody.
yep. Yep,
There's no privacy in texting.
there's no privacy in messages. You have to get a different message, I think.
Ah, okay.
I think there's a different way to, I think if you tap that particular individual on the top, I don't deal with group very often. Does anybody remember that one out there? I think I remember reading where you could respond to just one of the people.
All right.
But
It's not critical. It's okay.
Okay. All
Well, it
right.
could be critical.
Well, yeah.
I end up starting a new message because I hadn't figured out how to do that.
But I think there is it's one of those things back in my mind somewhere. All right. So far, so good. Any other questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
When I pay my 99 cents for 50 gigs on my iPad, does that, since my iPad is synced to this new iPhone, do I get those 50 gigs over there too, or do I have to pay separately for them?
No, it's one account.
It's one account? Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Mhm. I'm assuming your iPhone and iPad have the same Apple ID and the same
Yes.
password. Okay. Any others? Let's talk about that. Sharon's favorite button, this one, this little guy.
I love that too.
Right? You can place it anywhere on the edge you want, right? Can't put it in the middle, but you can place it anywhere on the edges of the screen. And it does get in the way and you have to move it around. But how do I get that button there? And how do you control what it does? Because if I tap my button, I'll tap it on the iPad here. If I tap it, it comes up with that particular set of options. That's if I tap it. If I press and hold it, it brings up Siri. Hi, Siri.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Sure thing.
Okay. So, and if I double tap it, it even has a third thing it does.
Wow.
Okay. So it does various things, and you can set up all those in, guess where?
Settings.
Settings. And if I go down settings to where it says accessibility. I'm doing it on my iPad. The iPhone works very much the same. Okay. And you see where it says touch under physical and monitor and motor? If you tap that, it says assistive touch. And you tap that and you turn it on. And first of all, if I just, I'll cover customized top level menu in a minute. But see where it says custom actions? One tap gives me the menu. That's this menu, top level menu. Two taps gives me home, and long press gives me Siri. Now you can change those. Single tap could give me any one of these things in this whole list. Okay. I happen to pick open menu. Double tap, I could have picked, again, anything in the menu. I picked home.
Oh.
And long press, by pressing and hold it, I chose to get Siri. Okay.
Huh.
Customizing the top level menu. Here are the different things that can show up in that top level menu, these different categories. And I can press that and select anything from that list. Right? I'm going to click dock. Okay, so now the dock will show up when I I've forgotten what I tap to get to that. When I single tap, then I'll get this menu show up, right? And if I tap right there, I'll get the dock. The star gives me custom. Then I have Siri. I don't think I should have Siri twice, so let's pick something else. If I pick lock rotation, I have to pick unlock rotation. I'm going to pick lock rotation. That's a good one. That's a good one, right?
So why would you have pick Siri for anything? Siri responds to Hey Siri.
Well, I don't have that turned on.
Okay.
And 7 of our devices just went off, Greg, or Pete.
I hear you.
And there's lock rotation. And oh, you can tap it and it locks and unlocks rotation. That's a cool one to have, right? I don't need to have home there, but that's okay. Okay. Let me go back to accessibility, touch. Okay. And the other one is idle opacity. If I increase it, see how it gets darker and lighter? Okay. So I have it set so you can see through it slightly. All right.
But you didn't choose screenshot.
I didn't. I better do that.
That was what the whole thing was about.
I better do that. instead of home button, I'm going to choose screenshot. Thank you. Okay. So now if I press the button and then I tap screenshot and it goes without the button in it. Oh, that's even better. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sharon, for mentioning that. And thank you, Bill and Greg, for your help. Any other
Would you do
questions?
that? Would you do that screenshot thing again?
Sure. I tapped the button because oh, you mean set it up or you mean use it?
Set it up.
Set it up.
I went to settings, accessibility,
Yes.
assistive touch, and then where it says customize, oops, sorry. Where it says customize there, I tapped that and I picked one of these that I didn't want to use. And I pressed it and then I changed and I made it be the screenshot. All right. So now when I tap that button, it brings up this menu, the one that's above here. And then I can tap screenshot. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bill,
Go.
I have notification center on mine. Why? Or why would I want it there?
So do I. What does it mean?
So do I.
If you pull down from the top, that's the notification center. Do I have it on mine there? Yeah. I
No, you don't.
Well, let me put it on mine. I'll show you what it does. Okay. All right. So that's what it does. It's the same thing as putting your finger on the top right, left of your screen and pulling down. I'll do it on my iPhone. Ooh, not there. Okay.
I have my button set up that's on my screen to do a double tap for a screenshot, which is easier to me than going to that menu.
That's okay. What do I have mine set at? Double tap. Oh, I have mine going back to the home screen.
I'm going to do that too. And I use the screenshot a lot because I look at recipes. Oh, I like that. So I'll save it to my pictures.
Yeah. So if you use it a lot, that's a good place for it then. So it's a personal choice. If you find yourself using screenshot a lot, make it so that you don't have to go to the second menu or actually the menu.
Can I ask a question about your message again?
Sure.
Back to did not cover using the pencil or the whatever it's called.
I didn't.
I have one. It's not an Apple one, but it doesn't work. Why? Because it's not Apple. Did one time, but I can't get it to do it again.
On messages, you're using a pencil? Oh, yeah, that's this thing right here. Is that what you're talking about? again, we're in messages, not emails. Leah,
What does it look like? I can't see.
this thing right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you should be able to see it.
It's the heart.
It's the heart. And then we can do my art work on it, right?
Okay, so if I were to have,
I think she's talking about the Apple Pencil and she's just got an off brand.
Are you?
yes, the Apple Pencil, how do you use it on the screen? Because it's not, I can't figure it out.
Wow. Didn't know you could write on it. My expert on that is on the line here, Sharon.
Okay, when I read the newspaper every morning, I go in to the business section and there are 3 puzzles. And I take my pencil on the bottom right and flick it up and it will take a screenshot. And then I can fill in the puzzle.
Huh.
Saves a lot of paper.
I understand what you're wanting to do with.
And then there are some programs like Notepad, the notes program. You can go in and make notes with it. I do that sometimes at meetings.
I can understand where to use it. I cannot understand how to use it is the question. Can't get it to write, period.
Well, there might be something wrong with the pencil.
Is it
Thank you very
charged?
much. It's all,
It-
I'll see what I can work on then. Maybe
Is
that's
it,
it.
Leah, is it charged?
As far as I know, it is.
Mine said it was only 15%. I just went to it. If you go to settings, Apple Pencil, and it shows you what charge is left on it.
Okay, and then I noticed the other day that when you had to turn on Bluetooth to do the Apple Pencil, you made that statement.
Oh, yes. And in your iPad, you have to stick it into the thing on the bottom where you charge it. You have to do that and it sort of connects it. And then,
So you have to have it connected to the iPad and not just use it freehand.
well, no, you just connect it and then you take it out and it makes the connection. And then if you do a swipe to the left, to the right, what's that screen called?
Which
Bill?
one? Which screen?
Well, when you're at the very beginning, if you do it's now do a swipe to the right.
Oh,
All the way.
app library, on my iPad or iPhone?
iPad.
I'm all the way to the right now on my iPad.
Okay, well,
It's the
you should-
phone that gives you the library.
no,
Okay,
I'm swiping from the left to the right.
this way?
And- Yeah, okay, that thing. That has well, maybe you have to put the widget up there, but I have a widget up there that shows the charge on my device and the charge on my pencil, both of them.
Must be battery or something. Yeah,
Possibly. Possibly,
batteries, plural, yes.
yeah. Yes, that's what I have.
Okay.
And it shows me the charge on my device and the pencil.
Mhm.
You have your pencil plugged in.
It's plugged
know.
it's plugged in the charger. In order to get it to work initially, you need to plug it in
Yeah,
where you would normally charge your iPad.
yes, I've done that.
And then it should be charged up and you should
It
be,
was,
then
show
to
it.
go, then you
Yeah.
should be able to go to settings. And it should show Apple Pencil
but it's not.
and it should show what percentage. You should see it there then.
But it's not an Apple, she said.
Oh, you don't have an Apple Pencil.
No, but I was told it would work like one, but
Ooh.
apparently it doesn't.
Well, you said it worked at one point. I
It
bought it.
did.
Yeah, I bought it off brand for my friend and she's using it all the time.
If you go to Bluetooth, is it listed? Settings and Bluetooth. And it should be listed there.
No, it's not.
Ah,
This devices is rotating.
under
I
other,
have to have it plugged into the computer when I use, to the iPad when I use it.
No,
no, but maybe if you plug it in and then go to Bluetooth, you may be able to connect it.
Okay, I'll work on that.
There must
Thank
be
you.
some process there. Okay. All right. This family was driving with their 3-year-old child on a warm summer evening when a woman in a convertible ahead of them stood up and waved. She was stark naked. As I was reeling with shock, I heard my 5-year-old shout from the back seat, "Mom, the lady isn't wearing a seatbelt."
Cute.
All right, folks.
Cuter than the first one.
All right. If that's it for today, what's on for next week? Do we know? Let me check. Let me switch screens here.
What we had last?
Using Siri.
What am I doing?
Using Siri.
Using Siri. Oh, that will be fun. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Thank you, Bill.
We didn't
very
get to
much.
we didn't get to voice recording today. We will get to it next time. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bill.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Have a
Bye.
great
Thank you,
week,
Bill.
everyone.
You've
Have a
been
good
very
day.
helpful.
All
Thank
Bye
right.
you.
from Texas.
Thank you also for what you sent us. I'm going to go back through all the pages that you sent.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Those are great. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.